You've heard from the Sports Lab Overtime, Sports Scene, Twigs with Jeremy St. Louis, Sports Lab with our INC students, and Jeff and Zach on Tailgate. Now, it's time to bring it all together. This is This Week in Gator Sports Overtime, your extra coverage and insider look at everything in Gator Nation.
Okay, let's do this. Let's get this thing underway. Here come the Gators.
Kicking off this week in Gator Sports Overtime with our Gators football beat reporters, Tori Kitchens and Nick Abreu. And we have some breaking news, sort of breaking news that came out Wednesday, that there is a new candidate. Of course, all the talk has been about Lane Kiffin, Nick, and Tori. And there's a new name that has entered the conversation. Tulane's Summerall is now the talk of Gainesville as potentially the next head coach to replace former head coach Billy Napier. I want to get your initial thoughts on Summerall. Is he a good pick, potential replacement to lead this Gators football program moving forward? Nick, starting with you.
Look, it's one of those situations that I look at as kind of maybe like smoke and mirrors. We're still kind of in the midst of all this Lane Kiffin situation. He just went on Pat McAfee yesterday and said he doesn't really have a deadline to tell Ole Miss when he's going to make a decision. So there's a lot of just rumors swirling around. And so I don't think it's as big of a deal as some people might initially make it out to be. I don't think he will be the head coach here. I don't think he's really a primary option to be the head coach here. I think when you're looking for a new head coach, you got to vet a lot of people. And some of them will be G5, but Scott Strickland kind of promised us as soon as he fired Billy Napier that G5 was out of the question. He was going for an elite head coach that could win national championships immediately. And John Summerall is not that. So it would be interesting if that ends up being the hire. I don't think it will be. I was on the Sports Lab yesterday. Someone called in. They said they were a booster. And their exact words to me were, it's embarrassing that they even went to the media and told the media that they were interviewing John Summerall as kind of the first like legitimate interview for head coach. So that kind of tells you what the boosters, what the fans kind of think of going to a G5 coach. Without
question. So Nick thinks John Summerall more of a backup option. Tossing the ball over to Tori to get your reaction to the news. John Summerall interviewing for the Florida Gators head coaching job.
Well, my first impression was, can we please pick any other state besides the state of Louisiana? You've got a currently 8-2 program at Tulane that John Summerall himself calls like average. He thinks that sometimes they could be in the top 25, sometimes not. And he doesn't seem to have a lot of confidence in his own team, so how would he be able to come to Gainesville, run an SEC program? And speaking of SEC, they have played one SEC game this year and lost. So I just don't think that it would be a good fit. It's like going from Sunbelt Billy to American John. So I don't love it. I agree with Nick that it might just be an option and not the option.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at Summerall's overall record as a head coach, he's 40-11 overall. Look at Tulane this season, 8-2. They're number 24 in the latest college football playoff ranking. But before Summerall entered the picture, of course, there was Lane Kiffin. And throwing the ball over to Nick. Nick, this has been a circus. When you talk about Lane Kiffin and everything that's happened, it feels like the circus has been going on for the past month. Ever since Napier's departure, LSU has entered the picture now. There have been conversations that Lane and his family were in Gainesville. They were in Baton Rouge as well. What is going on? Is Lane, one, going to make a decision here pretty soon? And when I say soon, the next couple weeks. And then two, will that decision be Florida?
It's really hard to kind of get a grasp exactly what's happening with this situation. If you want to stay updated, make sure to watch or keep reading the blog. It gets updated constantly on WRUF. Andres Rodriguez updates that.
Yeah.
But there's just so much going on with that Kiffin story right now. Like I said earlier, going on Pat McAfee, denying the ultimatum from Ole Miss that he has to make a decision before the Egg Bowl. And then you got guys from Florida saying it's a done deal. You got guys from LSU saying it's a done deal. His family was in both Baton Rouge and in Gainesville. So it's really impossible to tell what's going to happen between the three. I was really confident earlier this week that Lane Kiffin was the guy. I still think he's going to be the guy. I think when he went on the Pat McAfee show, said that ultimatum was fake, I think he was lying, to be honest. I mean, literally 2 seconds after he said that to Pat McAfee, almost like within the same breath, he was like, "Yeah, I got my running back Kewan Lacey in the room with me right here. Come on camera." I mean, if he's got that guy right there, he's not gonna tell him,
Yeah,
I'm leaving. I'm gonna make that decision next week. I'm gonna make the decision to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah. But who knows? There's still a couple weeks until the Egg Bowl. I guess we'll see if he makes a decision by then. I have a hard time believing he's not going to coach it in the Egg Bowl and in the college football playoffs.
Tossing the ball over to Tori. Tori, let's pretend this football is a magic 8-ball.
Oh.
And want you to make a prediction. Given everything that we've heard, Lane has been non-committal to Ole Miss at this point. Sounds like he's vetting his options when it comes to LSU and Florida. Start of next season, where do you think he's coaching?
I'm gonna go with Florida because I don't see him as a culture fit at LSU. It's seemingly a more toxic program than Florida is, and I think that he, despite his Twitter trolling and all of that, he tries to kind of keep it level-headed when it comes to coaching. And there's just so many extra factors in Baton Rouge that is like with all of the stuff that happened after Brian Kelley was let go of. And I just don't see it as a fit. And once again, he obviously looks up to Steve Spurrier, and he has ties to Gainesville, so that's not going to go away. And the fact that he hasn't signed that contract extension, I don't think he's going to at this point. It's a bit late in the game for that.
Yeah, without question. You mentioned some of the Twitter trolling, right? And you see what he's doing now. He has a championship contender, college football playoff contender in Ole Miss, but still, again, is checking out other options, looking to his left, looking to his right. Would you want, if you're a Gators football player, would you want a coach like Lane who, let's say, this time next year is potentially exploring other options, or even 2 years from now? If you're a Gators player looking at sort of the metrics of what we've seen over the last couple of weeks from Lane Kiffin, what are you thinking as a Gators player? Are you just happy that he'll be in Gainesville if he does decide to come here?
I mean, you kind of have to like blindly look at it as a player. Like, you could have one of the best college coaches in the country in Gainesville, and I think that should be an exciting thought. But at the same time, it is like a little bit scary to think about your coach leaving, regardless of who it is. Like, they were all scared to have Billy Napier go, and he obviously didn't execute record-wise. So I think that's just the nature of college football now. No one's staying consistent anymore, even players themselves, transfer portal. So, I mean, I think you just have to blindly like look at it and hope that he does come, because that is the best option. And it doesn't seem like there's many other options at that level.
Yeah. Nick, you mentioned Lacey being in the room during his interview with Pat McAfee on ESPN on Tuesday. And, again, it sounds like you're not only getting a good coach, but everything that comes with a good coach. If you're Lacey, he had that retweet on Twitter, which I thought was interesting, where he retweeted he's up for an award, postseason award, but he retweeted a tweet that said, how a coach is ruining the season, right? And he retweeted that, which I thought was certainly interesting there. You're a player. You're a Gators football player. Your thoughts on Lane Kiffin potentially coming, and again, the circus that comes with him?
Yeah, I think that's definitely a thought in a lot of these players' mind. I think the other thought in a lot of these players' mind, when a coach like Lane Kiffin with that pedigree comes into your program, he's going to bring a lot of guys with him. He might bring Kewan Lacey with him. He might bring some of those other guys with him.
Yeah.
So they might also be worried about their spot. But going back to the circus show, as you're saying, he's shown in the past that he's not very loyal. I mean, he was coaching at Tennessee for a year, and then as soon as USC came calling, left immediately. So it is one of those things that you might be concerned about with Lane. There's always going to be those conversations surrounding such an offensive-minded head coach like him. But I think the key is to show him why he came here, if he ends up taking the Florida job, why he took the Florida job. It's to win national championships. If you can show that you can compete to the level he's competing at Ole Miss with the resources that we have here at Florida, I think that's how you kind of quiet the crowd and kind of make sure that maybe he's not tempted to leave. But who knows, if a job like Texas, like Alabama, like we were talking about earlier, opens, you could see that. You could see those rumors start to swirl again, and who knows what's going to happen.
Without question. There's another theory out there that Lane Kiffin is simply just trying to drive his price up, right?
Yeah.
And you look at Sexton, his agent, and just shopping him around to drive his price up, and he ends up staying in Oxford at Ole Miss. You think there's any you think that's legit?
It'd be pretty smart.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what's happening or not, but I mean, if I was trying to get the most money and I got 4 or 5 other schools trying to pay for me, why not drive up that price? If I'm going to get $15 million a year to go to Florida and I'm only getting paid however much to be at Ole Miss, I'm going to tell them, hey, I'm in Florida for $15 million. You guys got $16 million. We're in the college football playoff. If you want that to keep happening, pay up.
Yeah. So. We talk about the transfer portal these days, Tori, shifting the ball over to you, and we talk about, a lot of people are fans of the transfer portal because we look at coaches and how they leave, season after season. But still, when you look at the loyalty, and again, this is a championship roster, potential championship roster. When you look at what Lane Kiffin has built, sort of what do you feel about the loyalty and the responsibility of a coach to his program, where he's currently getting paid and has coached this program to be a top 5 team? Where do you stand on loyalty? Is it just the wild, wild west for both coaches and players now, or do you feel that the coach owes his team the commitment through at least the end of the season?
I think it almost has to be the wild, wild west when it comes to it because of how much money is in college football with NIL, with contracts, all of that. I think that it's almost impossible to stay as loyal as how college football once was, and how I wish that it still was, in full honesty, because it's fun to be able to watch a team and watch players and coaches stay for however many years, and that's just kind of gone to the wayside with how much money is coming in and out of programs, players, coaches, all of that. And I don't think it's possible to go back at this point, but I wish that it would, because it is a lot more fun to be loyal as a fan to a program when there's loyalty from both coaches and players.
Now, we talked about Summerall, and of course there was the report that Summerall was interviewing earlier today. It turns out that there's another report out there that he's not interviewing with Florida. This comes from On3 Reporting.
Really?
And so, again, this just adds to the confusion of what exactly is happening with this Florida Gators coaching vacancy. We'll continue to follow it for WRUF.com, as Nick plugged earlier. Be sure to check out the blog. But, Tori and Nick, I mean, it's just every day there's a new development.
It's so hard to follow with how many rumors there are going on, and that's the same with Kiffin, Summerall, whatever coach, whatever player is saying something. It's so difficult to follow and know what's true and not, that I'm just at the point I'm putting my blinders on and not paying attention to anything until there's official word.
Just focus on the Tennessee game right now.
as best as we can, but I think that it's just so hard with this era of social media as well, because I'm getting messages from my friends saying, is Kiffin actually coming? And I'm like, there was nothing sent out that he is. I don't know where you're getting that from. Yeah. So it's just so difficult, and we're not going to know until that final press release comes out for sure.
Now, Nick, you alluded to it. Let's focus on this Tennessee game. Let's get out of all this mess right now. But before we get to the Tennessee game, we have to go to the Ole Miss game. The Gators rebounding after their loss against Kentucky, where they just laid an egg. I thought there were times in that game where Florida could have certainly pulled off the upset, but in the end, they lose 34-24 on the road. Your thoughts overall on that loss and how they can build on that this week?
Yeah, I think the game last weekend really showed the talent you have on this team, the ability that they have, the ceiling that they could have reached if they had the right guidance. I think DJ Lagway had a much stronger performance in that first half. You saw him have 2 really, really good deep throws. And one of the main things I saw, he actually said his feet did not leave the pocket on those throws. So that's something that we've been looking out for in recent weeks.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny how you get DJ Lagway. He's supposed to be this running quarterback, this guy that can do it with his legs.
Yeah.
And now you get nervous when he leaves the pocket. Now, it's crazy how it's come to that. But yeah, first half positive. The thing that I always take away from this game the most, though, is how the Gators just continue to just struggle in the second half. They just can't finish games. I mean, 0 points in the second half against Ole Miss when you have them on the ropes in a pretty big game for your season. You could have upset them 2 years in a row. You're playing against the coach that you kind of want to convince to come over to your team. So you got to be able to finish out that game. And then the week before against Kentucky, did not score in the second half. Week before that against Georgia, you're tied against Georgia at halftime. You can't finish out that game.
Yeah.
So that's been a theme of this Gators team, especially since Billy Gonzalez took over. So I think that's what's going to need to be the difference against Tennessee this week if they're going to bring out a win.
Tori, of course, you had our scouting report heading into the game Saturday against Tennessee. What should we expect from this Volunteers team?
You know, there's been a lot of back and forth about Tennessee of if they're really good this year, if they're really bad this year.
Yeah.
I would say somewhere in the middle. I was actually talking with my brother earlier, and he said that Florida could be the best 3-9 team ever. And I think Florida could have a chance. I'm not going to pick them again because I'm scared. But
Tori's only picked the Gators one time.
And I was wrong. So, but I think that the swamp is going to play a big role again. Like, it happens every year, every other year when Tennessee comes to town. The environment is always amazing, and I don't know if Tennessee's going to be able to, pull out what they want to do when they come to Gainesville.
And sold out.
Sold out,
again.
17th in a row.
Even 3-7, sold out. Gotta love it.
Incredible. Gators Nation certainly staying strong behind this team. Guys, let's get to it. Predictions for Saturday. Tori, doesn't sound like you're picking the Gators.
No.
Does that streak come to an end? It's a 22-year streak. It comes to an end Saturday?
I pick Tennessee because all streaks have to end at some point.
Yeah,
and
that is true.
I fear it's going to be this weekend.
Right.
I am going to go kind of similar to the outcome of Ole Miss and go for, I'll say 35-28.
35-28.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to go with.
Touchdown. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Nick. The streak come to an end Saturday at the Swamp.
Who says all streaks have to come to an end? I don't know. Maybe it's just like blind hope.
Yeah.
But every game that I've seen against Tennessee in the Swamp since I've been here has been electric. That last game where Graham Mertz kneeled, got hit late, started the fight when the final whistle was already blown.
The guy ran out on the field from the crowd.
Yeah. Crazy games between Florida and Tennessee. And in its history, I mean, you got that Hail Mary by Felipe Franks. It's just one of those rivalries that you get those kind of games that you might not get in a normal, like you bring the best version out of each other out.
Right.
And we already saw DJ Lagway at home play well against Texas. Who says he can't do it at home now against Tennessee? It does worry me that their offense is so high-powered. I think they're averaging like 44 point something points per game.
Yeah.
So it's going to be tough for our offense to keep up with that, but I have faith that the defense will show some fight. The Gators will break 30 points for the first time since week 1. I'm going to say, I see your face, Tor, 30-24 Gators.
Okay, all right. And with that defense, they're getting a little bit of help. Caleb Banks potentially coming back.
That'd be a huge addition.
Saturday. But Gums, he's having surgery, so he'll be out. But they didn't rule him out for the season. So there's
it's interesting.
Which is crazy, yeah.
So he could be back potentially for the Florida State game. Urban Meyer's going to be in the building. You saw that hype video that he put out earlier this week, so he'll be honored, I believe, at halftime this week. So it should be an electric crowd, sold-out crowd. Guys, until next week, well, actually 2 weeks from now, we'll see what happens with this coaching search. Do you expect over the break, over the Thanksgiving holiday, we'll have some news here before we wrap up on Twigs OT? What do you think?
Oh, we'll 100% have something.
Yeah.
Even if it's not a hire.
More options.
That's what I
for
mean,
sure.
like a hire. Do you think we're going to get a hire by the time we're having Thanksgiving dinner? What do you think?
Not by Thanksgiving dinner.
No?
Maybe
I
that
don't think
Sunday
so.
after the Egg Bowl. But
Sunday after? All right.
Yeah,
So I have to
that's
read some
the
leftovers.
day I'm circling on my calendar
Sunday?
too for something to happen.
Yeah. All right. We'll see. Well, we're going to be off next week here on This Week in Gator Sports, but be back in 2 weeks. Maybe we have some news to talk about. Maybe we have a new head coach to discuss as well. That's Tori Kitchens. That is Nick Abreu here on This Week in Gator Sports Overtime. Of course, Hunter DeLauder as well, part of the Gators football beat. Thank you both for coming on This Week in Gator Sports Overtime. Of course.
Thank you.
Back here on This Week in Gator Sports Overtime, and we are joined by Jake Hoffman to my left, Morgan Vasquez to my right. They are AP Top 25 beat reporters for WRUF.com, and we're getting to the end of the season, only 2 weeks left. The latest college football playoff rankings came out Tuesday night. Jake, break it down for us. What needs to happen moving forward? A lot of changes in that top five.
I don't know where the time has went where we're already 2 weeks away from the playoff. Feels like just yesterday where Florida fans were happy coming off a 55-point win. Look where we are now. Clearly a lot's changed, especially with the poll. A lot of big games last week, starting off with Oklahoma, Alabama was a massive one. Oklahoma went into Tuscaloosa, snapped Alabama's 17 home game win streak. I was shocked.
I was going to say, that's been your team all
That's
season
been my
long.
team on the show, but that Sooners defense, if you look at the box score, Alabama had almost 200 more total yards, but Oklahoma was able to force 3 turnovers, and the offense did just enough to help out the defense coming out with a win. Oklahoma now finds their way in the top 12. Alabama drops from number 4 to number 10 after staying in that top 5 for over a month. So now the question is, Bama's 9-2. 1 loss against Oklahoma, which isn't a bad loss. They're a great program. And 1 against FSU, which when you look at how FSU's playing now, that one definitely is a red flag on the resume. So it's going to be big with the SEC these last 2 weeks with all these conference matchups. So we'll see what happens. Alabama definitely needs to win out if they're going to want a shot.
That question. Of course, that Auburn game is going to be a big one next week, the Iron Bowl. It's at night. Of course, you know the history around that game. You think Alabama is able to pull it out and get into the college football playoff?
I think they will. Alabama's been a resilient team all year. They've had one of the hardest schedules. But in a game against Auburn that has so much history, I think records in all the past games go completely out the window. It's a completely different game. I mean, we've seen field goals that have gone short, return for touchdowns for the win in this series. It's always a fun one to watch despite the records. Alabama should pull it out. I'd be surprised if they didn't, but I think Auburn knows that they're already eliminated from playoff contention, and this is a game that they mark on their schedule every year, and they really got nothing to lose, so Auburn's going to come out firing.
Without question. Now, that game, speaking of coming out with fire, South Carolina last week against Texas A&M, they took a big lead. But Texas A&M, they mounted a furious comeback and were able to pull out the win in that one. Your thoughts, and how did it save their season?
I mean, 30-3 at halftime. I think the whole college football universe was shocked to see A&M was down at home, especially by 27. But we've seen what Marcel Reed has been able to do all year. Comes out, I don't know what the speech was in the locker room at halftime, but Marcel Reed came out, 3 straight possessions of passing touchdowns. Just a great job by the A&M defense to get a shutout in that second half. Even with the loss, A&M, of course, they've been great all year, the best team in the SEC. They would still be in the playoff. But now with that win, you keep yourself at that number 3 spot versus dropping down somewhere between 7 and 10. You hold that top spot in the SEC, and now A&M controls their own destiny. They win out, they'll find themselves in the SEC championship, and they'll most likely be getting a bye in this college football playoff.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we talked about the Alabama side of things and how last week's loss affected them, but Oklahoma got the win to stay alive.
Yeah, it was win or go home for Oklahoma. Alabama had a little bit of margin for error. Oklahoma came in. They understood what had to get done. They understood the mission, and they went into Alabama and won. And now Oklahoma, they got 2 games left. They've had a lot of hard matchups, but after playing a team like Alabama on the road, I think it really only gets easier from here. So as long as they keep playing how they played last week, they should find themselves in the college football playoff. But one loss, and it's no question we'll be seeing them in a bowl game. That's not in the top 12.
Absolutely. Now, shifting the ball over to Morgan now, the College Football Playoff Selection Committee, they released their second bracket of the season Tuesday, as we mentioned earlier. Morgan, how do you see things shaking out for the rest of this season?
Well, gosh, there's a lot of make or break games this weekend. I mean, the Group of 5 is a mess right now for the College Football Playoff Committee. Gosh, what a mouthful. We've seen Memphis take that 12 seed. We've seen USF take it, and now it's looking like it's going to come down to Tulane or JMU, depending on how this weekend goes. USF, I would love to see them resurface as the 12 seed, but that loss to Navy was really kind of destroyed their playoff hopes. Yeah. Only if they went out and JMU and Memphis take just crushing losses this week is the only way that USF comes back from that. Yeah. But also the ACC is a mess.
Absolutely.
I mean, Miami, we all kind of thought that they were going to be the ACC championships, the ACC champions in the beginning of the season, and now their only path forward really is an at-large bid, barring, Georgia Tech would have to lose, Virginia would have to lose, Pitt, all those teams would have to lose in order for Miami to make the championships, and I just don't see that happening. Right now, the ACC championships looks like it's going to come down to Georgia Tech and Virginia if everything holds as it is, and I think Pitt, who has made their ambitions very clear. They refuse to let their season die. They want to make the championships, and I just don't think it's going to happen for them. Yeah. They would have to beat both Georgia Tech and Miami these next 2 weeks, which is not impossible. Ambition can take you far.
That is for sure. I mean, I'm excited for these next 2 weeks of college football. Yeah. As you mentioned, the Group of 5 is a mess. You have Miami as well, needing an at-large bid after they came out strong. They ranked, as high as number 2, right?
Yeah. They spent 4 weeks at number 2.
Wow. And to see them needing an at-large bid. And then Georgia Tech. They have a tough last game against Georgia.
Yeah.
And so if they lose in that game, obviously that could shake up the college football playoff. I mean, if you had to predict sort of who gets in, who's left out, what would be your prediction as of today?
As of today, I think Georgia Tech takes home the ACC championships. They're in. And I think Miami is going to be in as well, probably as the 11 seed. Yeah. I just think that the playoff committee is really valuing the out-of-conference record for Miami, and I think they're going to make it. It'll be tough. Yeah. I think some SEC teams are going to be left reeling a little bit. I mean, Oklahoma right now is 4-2 in SEC play, but so is Vanderbilt. And so Vanderbilt fans are looking around being like, hey, why not us? And so if Oklahoma if they stumble in the next 2 weeks, it might just be Vanderbilt's time to shine.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Again, exciting couple weeks of college football. Let's get to the predictions next. We have 3 games to predict for this week, starting off. Keep the ball with you, Morgan. Yeah. Tennessee at Florida. Big game here at the Swamp. Florida right now, 4.5-point underdogs against number 20 Tennessee. That's a closer spread than I would have predicted, but Florida did play tough against Ole Miss last week, only losing 34-24. What's your prediction against Tennessee?
Listen, we hate to see losses, but I walked away from the Georgia game and the Ole Miss game saying that wasn't bad. I like to see it. And so I think with the rivalry aspect of Tennessee in the Swamp, Florida's going to walk away with it.
All right. Jake, your prediction. Florida, Tennessee.
I mean, I'll be turning 21 in February, and since I've been on this planet, Tennessee football has not beaten the Gators in the Swamp. 2003 was the last time Tennessee left Gainesville victorious, and I think the Gators got it. Like Morgan just said, we were in it with Georgia and Ole Miss. Forget that Kentucky game. I think that was very out of character from us. I'm saying that as if our character's been strong all season. But, no, Florida's really been hanging in there. It's just second half collapses. We've come out firing. Then we've come out in the second half just starting off slow. Last game, just 7 offensive plays in the third quarter. Time of possession was 12 minutes to 3 in Ole Miss's favor, and that's just not going to cut it. But in terms of this game, Billy Gonzalez needs that first win. Everything's on the line for him right now. He's 0-3. This Florida team doesn't want to be the team that allows Tennessee to beat them in the swamp for the first time since 2003.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take the Gators. I don't care that Tennessee is ranked. They haven't won here in 20-plus years. They should not be the favorites. We should be.
Jake, you're making me feel old over there with that. Haven't won since 2003. Moving right along, another top 25 matchup, Missouri, Oklahoma. Oklahoma, 7.5-point favorites. Who you got?
Oklahoma just beat, I guess at this point I could say, my Crimson Tide. So I'm going to take Oklahoma. Every time I've watched Missouri this season, we know that dominant run game. They have a two-headed monster in the backfield, but Missouri started off the season hot, and then it's just been a downward slope for them. That loss to Vanderbilt kind of really triggered it. That loss to Alabama as well. Mm-hmm. And now I feel like Missouri, they have 3 losses. They know they're not making the playoffs. They're kind of in a weird middle ground spot where you're ranked, but you know you're out, but you could get a good bowl game. And Oklahoma's got everything on the line, and especially coming off a tough win against Alabama, I think Oklahoma's got it.
All right, Morgan, your pick.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Oklahoma as well.
Okay.
I think a win over Missouri is expected, but if they took a loss,
yeah,
that might be it for them in terms of the playoff.
Yeah.
Like, the only game they have after that is LSU, and I don't know if that would be enough to save them from elimination at that point. So it really is a must-win for Oklahoma.
All right, last game we'll predict here, top 25 matchup, Oregon hosting USC for this weekend. Oregon, 9.5-point favorites. Morgan?
I mean, USC, I am shocked to see them doing this well, ranked so high.
Absolutely.
With that being said, Oregon, another team that has a lot to lose if they lose.
Yeah.
Their playoff record is on the line.
Yeah.
So I think that they're just going to pull it out at home.
All right. Jake, take us home.
I like Oregon as well. I've never been huge into USC stock. I mean, they've had losses against Illinois season and Notre Dame. But if you look at this Oregon team, even with the loss, I still think they're going to be in that top 12. While it was at home, they lost to Indiana, who look at Indiana, the number 2 team in the country with Heisman favorite Fernando Mendoza. I really think Oregon's got this one. I think that home field advantage, plus I think their offense is just going to have too much firepower. USC, their offense hasn't really gotten it going as of late. And I think especially on the road in Oregon, it's definitely going to be troubling for them. So I'm going to take Oregon, and I think they cover the spread with a double-digit win as well.
There you go. 2 predictions. That is Jake Hoffman, Morgan Vasquez. We're off on Twigs OT next week, but when we come back, we should have a clear picture on the college football playoff, and we'll break it down, our AP Top 25 team. Be sure to check out all their coverage on WRUF.com. They also have updates for next week. Is that right? You guys are going to have some turkey and some predictions and rankings for next week here on WRUF. So be sure to check out all the work. Jake, Morgan, thank you for joining us on Twigs OT.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Here on This Week in Gator Sports Overtime, and right now I'm joined with one of my NFL beat reporters, Dalton Salines. Riley Orovitz is out home early for Turkey Day, the well-deserved break. But we do have Dalton to break down everything that's happening in the NFL world, starting with last week. Bucks lost and the Jags, and Dolphins won. How did that affect the power rankings for this week, Dalton?
Yeah, we saw the Bucks drop another game to an AFC East contender, this time to the Bills. It was a bit of an ugly loss. Josh Allen had 6 total touchdowns on that Buccaneers defense. They fell down another 3 spots. They're nearly out of the top 10. It's just about health for the Buccaneers right now. If they can get healthy, they'll climb right back up the power rankings. Meanwhile, Jacksonville came out and dominated the Chargers. I know last week me and Riley were both talking about how we expected the opposite result. Meanwhile, Jacksonville came out and dominated. They move up 2 spots. Miami also moves up 2 spots, putting a little win streak together.
Yeah.
I know we were joking about Super Bowl contenders, but hey, you just went out. Who knows what'll happen.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know about the Miami Dolphins winning out, though. But, I mean, when you look at Tampa Bay and Buffalo as well, you look at Tampa Bay and just how they've been playing all season long. Baker Mayfield, at one point regarded as a potential MVP pick as well. How do you see that team moving forward?
Yeah, I think they move forward a lot better than they've been. Obviously, both the Patriots and the Bills, the last 2 losses, very strong teams.
Right.
Baker's been missing his weapons. No Chris Godwin, no Mike Evans, no Bucky Irving. Godwin and Irving are both expected back soon, potentially as soon as this week. So I think as those guys get healthy, as the Bucs, continue to get healthy, they play in the NFC South. Their biggest competition right now is the Carolina Panthers, who I do not fully believe in at all. They'll be able to get in the playoffs and I believe make a run in the NFC because of the fact they can get healthy.
Talk about Jacksonville. They're recovering, of course, from a historic collapse the week before and rebounded nicely. 35-6 win, obviously a big win. They're also dealing with injuries as well in Jacksonville. But you have to be happy with the direction that they moved, especially coming off of, again, that collapse of the week prior.
Yeah, absolutely you do. And, I mean, it was all phases of the game. It was just extreme efficiency. You saw Bashal Tutin came in, had 15 carries, averaged about 4.5 yards a carry, had a phenomenal game. Trevor Lawrence only threw for just over 150 yards, but they still were able to put up points. They held the Chargers to below 100 yards passing as a team. We even got to see Trey Lance reps for the Chargers. That's how bad it was. If you're a Jacksonville fan, that's exactly what you wanted to see to prove that you can compete against teams that could be representing the AFC in the playoffs.
Yeah.
The Jaguars have a real shot in the wild card right now. They're currently a wild card team. If they continue this, who knows what happens once you get in the playoffs.
Let's talk a little bit about awards for this
Yes.
week. Just, of course, recapping the power rankings. But when it comes to Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year, and Coach of the Year as well, who do you have? Who are your picks?
Yeah, right now, if you look at the Florida teams, each one has a contender for that. If I was taking Defensive Player of the Year right now, I would still take Myles Garrett of the Browns. He had another huge game, but don't sleep on Jordan Brooks of the Dolphins. Riley talks about him nonstop. He's leading the NFL in tackles, and in doing that, you give yourself a chance. He's impacting the game. If Miami is able to pile a few wins together down the stretch here, you could very easily see Brooks being a big part of that and kind of getting some votes in that. With Rookie of the Year, especially on the offensive side, I think it's a 2-horse race between Emeka Egbuka and then the Giants quarterback Jackson Dart. I believe Egbuka, he's been healthy, he's been on the field. Dart plays extremely recklessly. Obviously, the voters do tend to go quarterback for this, but if Dart can't stay on the field, there's a real path for Egbuka to end up with the award. And then Coach of the Year. A lot of people are looking in the AFC South at the Colts. I'm going to say, why not Liam Cohen?
Yeah.
The Jaguars, they brought him in as a first-year head coach. He's really turned this team around. They're rallying around him. And against the Chargers, they showed they can be competitive against some of the top-tier teams in the AFC. If the Jaguars make a run into the playoffs, or if they end up pushing the Colts in the AFC South, I think Liam Cohen has a real shot at Coach of the Year this year.
That'll be interesting to see if he gets a Coach of the Year for this. I mean, you look at the job that he's done, regarding all the circumstances as well. Certainly surprised to see his name up there, but it would be a nice accolade for him to collect at the end of this season. Switching gears to the fantasy preview for this week for the Bucs and the Jags. Dalton, my fantasy team isn't doing too well this season. I'm almost giving up, but give me your top players to start for this week.
Yeah, it's going to come down to injuries once again. Sean Tucker last week had a phenomenal game for the Buccaneers at running back, but if Bucky Irving's back, Tucker has fallen back into a 2, potentially even the RB3 role in Tampa Bay. You got to look at the receiver room with Emeka Egbuka, Sterling Shepard, and then Cade Otton at tight end. Especially if Chris Godwin can't get any run. Baker Mayfield's top 2 targets were Egbuka and Otton, and Sterling Shepard is catching everything that's getting thrown his way. Even though he's not up there in targets, he's bringing in catches, and Mayfield is looking his way. Meanwhile, in Jacksonville, you have Jacoby Myers leading the way in targets. I've talked about him nonstop. I'm a big fan of his. He had 11 fantasy points last week. He's bringing in targets. Lawrence is looking his way. The running back room is very interesting because, like I mentioned, Tutin had the huge game last week, but was still out-touched by Etienne. Etienne had 19 touches to Tutin's 15. It'll be interesting to see, especially with Tutin having to leave the game with an ankle injury, how much he's able to go. Today at walkthrough, he was a full participant, but it was just a walkthrough. There's no clear indicator if Tootin will be able to go or not yet. If he does, there's a chance he supplants Etienne as the RB1 in Jacksonville and is definitely a guy you can fit in your flex this week.
All right. You heard it there from Dalton. Of course, we're joined by Dalton Salines, our NFL beat reporter for WRUF. Be sure to check out all of his work. Shifting gears now, Dalton. Riley's not here to give you a hard time, but I'm here to give you a hard time after last week's picks. Riley's back in the league back in the lead, 4 picks for over the course of this season. Currently has a 1-game lead over you.
Yes.
Couple games to pick from this week. We have Cardinals, Jags, Bucks, Rams. Let's start with the Cardinals and the Jags.
Yeah, she took the 1-game lead over me. I'm not excited, but I have her picks here. She's going with the Cardinals 21-17. I'm following that. I have the Cardinals 28-24. I know there's no Kyler Murray, and I've talked up the Jags all episode already, but I do think it's a little coming down to earth moment here for Jacksonville, riding the high off of a big win. I expect the Cardinals to do just enough offensively to get it done and get the win.
Yeah, we shall see. Of course, Cardinals playing without Kyler Murray. See how that situation pans out in Arizona. Next game on the list, Bucks and Rams. That's going to be a tough one.
It is a tough one, and this is where we differ here. So Riley has the Rams 32-28. I have the Bucks 35-28. I think after 2 tough losses, Tampa Bay is able to bounce back and get the win over a very strong Rams team who's coming off a win against the Seahawks last week. The Rams are great. I just think the Bucks, especially if they're able to get Godwin and Irving back, have enough firepower to pick up the victory.
All right, we'll see. Speaking of the Bucks, I have Baker Mayfield as my starting quarterback. So let's hope the Bucks get the win this weekend over the Rams. But certainly going to be a good game there in the NFC. Switching gears to X Factors for each of these games. You have Riley's X Factor as well for
I
that?
don't have anything from her, but I can tell you exactly what I'm expecting to see here. Starting in the Rams and Bucks game, it's going to come down to, can the secondary for Tampa Bay contain the Rams wide receivers? Matthew Stafford is leading the league in passing touchdowns right now, and he's throwing to Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams, who are finding ways to get open. I can't even highlight one, corner or safety who is going to fall on, because it's going to be a team effort in Tampa Bay to try to slow these guys down. If they can do that, and I'm expecting they can, they're going to walk out with a victory.
All right. How about for the other game, Cardinals-Jags?
I mean, we saw what the Jags defense did to Justin Herbert last week. Jacoby Brissett threw for over 450 yards last week against San Francisco. Now, that wasn't a loss, but he's shown he can throw the ball all over the field. Is the Jacksonville defense going to be able to slow down Brissett? Something I did not think I'd be saying in Week 12 of 2025. But can the Jacksonville defense slow down Brissett and not let him get all that work in? There's multiple receiving options in Arizona, be it tight end Trey McBride, wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr., even Michael Wilson last week had a phenomenal game. So all those weapons, Jackson showed they can do it last week against the Chargers. Are they able to make it 2 weeks in a row? That's the question. I'm saying no, but we'll see what happens.
All right. Speaking of 2 weeks, we won't be back here on Twigs Overtime for another 2 weeks. And in between that time, talk about another X Factor. You playing quarterback for the intramural team. You're going to be the X Factor. You're going to bring home the championship.
I'd like to hope so. We get to play in the swamp, which is super exciting, the intramural co-ed team. But, we're going to see what happens. Heard you might come out and watch a little bit there. I'll have to shout out for the professor.
I have to check out that arm. You said you play quarterback, and have to check out that arm and also check out your scrambling ability as well. So definitely looking forward to that. Dalton, our NFL beat reporter for WRUF, thank you so much for joining us on Twigs OT.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, we're back here on This Week in Gator Sports Overtime, and we have a new guest joining us for the men's basketball segment, Jordan Leo, who is joining us now, and we're going to talk a little bit of Gators basketball. They have a big game tomorrow night, Friday night, against Merrimack, and Merrimack, of course, they run their 3-2 defense. Jordan, you're a big basketball fan. You've been following this team as well to start the season. As it currently stands, the Gators are 3-1. And, of course, this is one more tune-up before they face TCU. Duke for a big-time game on December 2nd. But first, we're going to play Merrimack on Friday night. And just want to get your thoughts on against that 2-3 defense and what the Gators can improve on looking ahead to Duke.
Yeah.
Very excited for the game tomorrow. I think it's going to be a really fun time, especially being ring night. So I think the Gators, they have so much to improve on before Duke, just because, as we've seen from the reoccurring issues, like from this season with not being able to shoot, I think that's like the number one thing that we have to improve on, especially with Boogie and Xavier. And like, this is their role, and like in the backcourt, it's like, how do we replace like the 3 NBA level talent that we lost last year? And I think in the beginning of the season, they're really starting to adjust. And I think that's kind of like the growing pains that they're really trying to face right now. And with a competition like Merrimack, Merrimack, they played Auburn earlier this year and they lost by almost 50, I think. So I think this is a great opportunity to really be at home, kind of like get more in tune, build up some confidence, like beyond the arc, and like really be on the perimeter and start draining some shots.
Yeah.
And as we've seen from Miami as well, like with Urban, he's been playing great. That was his best game yet, career high. And I think, that's another player on the bench that we can really rely on to hit those threes maybe later on. So I think this is a great opportunity for really the team to utilize, obviously not just the 3 bigs, but also to get that bench depth. And like, I think one thing about this team that kind of surprised me too was like how much we're playing like Isaiah Brown. I didn't really expect him to have as much, presence on the court as he has. He has definitely been more of a bigger role than I expected. And I think this is also a great way to get Meek in there. Victor McGish, like I think that with Micah being out tomorrow, I think that's a great way to also kind of get him in the rotation. So yeah, being at home, this is a great way to really, get us back on track. And I think what we've seen with that Arizona loss, like Arizona just beat UConn last night.
Yeah.
So I think that was a huge win for them, and that's really making our loss look better. So I think this is a great way to really find our identity before Duke and UConn, because that's going to be down to the wire games for both of them.
Yeah, without question. One of the points that you just mentioned, just shooting, that has been an Achilles heel for this team all season long. When you look at their 3-point shooting as a team right now, shooting just 23.7%. And one of the conversations that I've had with Jesse Bratman, the men's beat reporter, who also covers the team for WRUF, has been, if you're going to be a 3-point shooting team, you have to make shots, right? And the Gators haven't made shots. And so against this Merrimack team, they run a 2-3 defense. It might open up the perimeter a little bit. Your thoughts, do they finally find their rhythm tomorrow?
Honestly, I think they're definitely going to take, I think, more shots on the perimeter, just because this is like not as high of a level of competition as we've seen from FSU or Miami. So the talent gap is going to be there, and it's going to be a good way for them to really build up confidence for that. But I think as for tomorrow, it's going to be also just with the defense on Merrimack's side. I think the Gators are going to focus still on running the offense through the front court. I think that's going to be something that we're going to see throughout the whole entire season, no matter who we play. Just because, with Tommy also playing at the 3 now, it's kind of like, okay, sometimes you have 3 bigs on the court, and like the points will have to be within the paint for us to find a consistency and go on runs. Like, we cannot rely on just giving away possession just because the threes aren't falling right now. And I think one of the great things is that for Florida, like, even though we're not a great 3-point shooting team, like, the rebounding has been there. So that's maybe that is a great way to really try more 3-point shooting tomorrow, just because we can grab those rebounds, and the height will have the height differential as well. So but I do think tomorrow we'll see the front court show up again against that defense, and really to see if we could find a rhythm with the backcourt. It's just like, with Xavier and Boogie, I think for them, you could see, especially after the FSU game, like, Xavier was shooting up threes for like 3 hours after the game ended, and you could see that they're hungry and they want to prove themselves in this new environment, in this new team. So with Merrimack, and with it being such a ceremonial night, like, it's a great way to kind of step onto the stage. And I know the shooting is going to fall. Like, it's going to start to pick up and is going to start really to find a rhythm later on. It's just like, how can we do that before Duke and before UConn?
I mean, when you look at the shooting, a lot of it's mental, right?
Yes,
and confidence.
yes.
And so I think, as you mentioned, they've been putting up extra shots. And you look at a guy like Xavier Lee. Of course, he's coming from the Ivy League, SEC, a different pace, different caliber player. What do you think just needs to happen for them to build that confidence and finally knock down these shots.
Yeah, I think for Xavier, coming from the Ivy League, it's a big transition, and that honestly, I feel like a lot of people don't really give him grace for, because it's like such a big step from the kind of level of competition who he was playing before. And I think right now, I think a great way to really build his confidence is getting to the rim. Like he's great at driving to the hoop, and like he hasn't really done as much of that. Like we've seen a little bit, I think, against Arizona, but especially the last 2 games, he's kind of just been passing around the ball and like really creating assists and not having that score like drives as much until like probably the end of the game. Like I think against FSU, he didn't have more than a few points until probably the last 5 minutes. So I think for Xavier, really just to focus on like what he does best, which is like he's shifty, like he could just drive to the hoop and really get to the rim. And also his passing, he's a great passer. So really just to focus on that and then take some threes. Like I think the student section, I think they also have like a responsibility tomorrow because really to hype up the team. Like obviously this isn't the start that we've wanted, and like I think we have a lot of expectations coming from last season, and it's like you're really comparing him to Walter Clayton Jr., which is not fair. And I think to give him that like support, that home environment, that O-Dome experience, and really just to make him feel comfortable just shooting more. And it's like it's okay to miss, because if you're not going to shoot, you're gonna miss anyway. So I think for him, just like really keep his head in the game in terms of like don't let the outside noise really affect how you feel about your game, because he knows himself the best. He knows what he can do, and he knows his abilities. And I think his teammates have also been really supportive of that as well. So just really just focus on the goal and to block out the noise, I think will be a good.
I think that's a really good point. You talk about the crowd and the fans as well. That can only add so much pressure and added pressure as well. When it comes to his performance. So we'll see if they show up. It's going to be a sold-out crowd tomorrow at the O-Dome, and so let's see if maybe they catch fire. You mentioned the bigs and how much of a part they've played this season. 3-1 as it stands. Of course, you got to look at Alex Condon, Thomas Hawk as well. They've been a huge part of the Gator success. Talk about what they need to do moving forward, starting tomorrow night.
Yeah. So I think for Alex Condon, he's preseason All-American. I think what we've seen from Alex, especially from the end of last year as well, is like he's a little inconsistent. I think that's one thing that he really needs to work on, is how to show up every single night, because I feel like from that veteran player on our team, that leader, we kind of expect him to really lead our team to victory and also for morale. But I feel like for Alex Condon, like he's recovering from some injuries from last season, and you kind of see glimpses of what Alex Condon can be throughout the Final Four. But it's just like, how does he become more consistent and rather not hot or cold every single night? I think from Miami, we saw like his best game yet. He had like 19 points. He did really well. He was getting rebounds. He was making a few threes too, which, he wasn't draining them earlier in the season. So I think Alex, for him to really find his groove is like so imperative, because that is a crucial player in the front court, and without him, I think Gator's ceiling like drops like way more. And Thomas Hawk, big fan of him. Like I have no complaints about Tommy. I think he's been doing so good throughout this whole entire season. He's our most consistent player. I would say he's been carrying this team on his back like every single game, and he's doing it all. He's getting rebounds, he's driving to the hoop, he's dunking, he's making a few threes as well. And for Tommy, just to stay healthy, I think if Tommy stays healthy the entire season, we have the chance to make a deep run in March. But I think for him is also load management. I think for him, he's been playing like 38 minutes every single game, and I think that kind of worries me, because I don't really want Tommy to, obviously, like that's going to be higher risk of injury, also him getting tired out. And I think being somebody like that finding somebody that could come in for Tommy is going to be really important. And then as well as Ruben, I think Ruben has been doing great as well. However, the flagrants, I think, has been an issue.
Without question.
Yes. So I think to control emotions, to really be disciplined on the court is something that he needs to be working on. And Micah has been doing great. I think Micah last year, coming off of an injury, was really scared and really playing scared, and you could kind of tell. But this year, he has completely gotten rid of that, and he has gotten his confidence back, and he's really putting 110% out on the court. So, I think the front court is doing great. Honestly, it's probably the best front court in college basketball. Like, they have all won a national championship. So, it's really, I think the front court will only go as far as the back court. You can't rely on them to be offensively on every single game. Like, the back court needs to drain some points and to really contribute to the offense. So,
Without question. Another bright spot in that game against Miami, Urban Klabsar, seeing him finally get his groove going. Early on, I wasn't sure if you should even play him.
Neither. His ball handling was a little questionable.
Without question.
Yes.
But against Miami, 15 points, shot 4 for 8, knocked down four 3-pointers, I should say. Can he keep it going?
He's another player that I think is so hot or cold. Like, you really don't know where you're getting with Urban, especially defensively, which is like, he's also smaller than everybody on the court. So it's kind of like the only way he can really stand out is draining those threes and from on the perimeter. So I think last year we saw him come up in such big games, like the Auburn game. The Auburn game was so crucial for him because he had like 3 threes that really extended our lead in Neville. And I just hope that as this season progresses, he becomes someone that's like more reliable, but he does need to work on his ball handling. I think it's very easy for him to cause turnovers and to lose the ball. So we've definitely seen that with Miami too. But I think in the Miami game, like, thank goodness, I think Miami also, they weren't the greatest at handling the ball either. So that kind of caused a lot of chances for us to take it to our core as well. But then also with the Miami game, I think another thing is they missed so many free throws on the Miami side, and I think that's also something that the Gators can work on as well. I think for the Miami game, we also like left 10 points on the floor, just from the line. So that is something.
19 for 29. In that game.
And I think that was also the Arizona stat as well. So against these higher level competition, that's something that we definitely need if we want to be in the games. Yeah, exactly.
Easy points that you're leaving on the court.
Exactly.
Wrapping up here with Jordan on This Week in Gator Sports Overtime. Jordan, your prediction. Next time we'll be on, Gators would have played 2 games, not only against Merrimack, but they have TCU next week as well. How do you see these next 2 games playing out before they face Duke on December 2nd?
I think for Merrimack, I think tomorrow, I'm going to predict that it's going to be a 30 to 40 point win.
Blowout.
Yeah, it's going to be a blowout in the O-Dome. It's going to be sold out. It's going to be hype. People are going to be loud with their rings on. So I think it's going to be a blowout. And just like comparing it to the Auburn match where Merrimack kind of, only scored 57 in Neville. So I think it's going to be very similar to that stat line where I think Auburn had like 94 or something like that. So I think it's going to be very comparable. For TCU, I actually... we'll see. And this is Thanksgiving break. It's really, I think it depends on how mentally locked in the players are for TCU, because it's going to be break time. It's also going to be traveling to like a neutral site. It's California, right? So San Diego. So that's far away. And I think really the team should just work on what has not been working. So really to get back on track to have hopefully like a 10-point plus cushion. I think going into halftime and also winning the game by more than 10, I think that would be a great way to go and head into the Duke game on December 2nd. Yeah,
without question. TCU, they actually played Michigan tough. Michigan, number 6 team in the country, lost 67-63 in that one. So Gators will certainly face some tough competition during Thanksgiving week. Jordan, thank you for stepping in for Jesse this week on This Week in Gator Sports and giving us the latest on men's basketball. Be sure to definitely check out more of your work on the WRUF social media platforms as well. Anything that you have coming up?
Yeah, it's follow WRUF social on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. And we have the fastest reliable news for all of the Florida Gator Nation. So
without question. Yeah, great. Be sure to check out all of Jordan's work as well as the social media team's work as well. Jordan, thank you for joining us on This Week in Gator Sports Overtime.
816. Not all applicants qualify for a loan or rate savings. Actual offer terms, including APR, are determined at the time of your application based on creditworthiness, value of the vehicle, loan term, and other factors.
How do you stay humble when you're America's #1 wiper blade? That's what we're currently dealing with at Rain-X. Is it even possible to humble brag when you bully Mother Nature like we do? Do we sound too conceited if we keep repeating how Rain-X is the #1 brand of wiper blades in America? No. We'll take a lesson from our wipers and just keep doing our job with humility. As America's #1 wiper blade. Rain-X. Outsmart the elements.
Be part of the first ever Winter Wonderland 5v5 Youth Soccer Tournament at Sports at WEC. From December 13th to 14th, this festive outdoor tournament is open to U8 to U14 teams with competitive and recreational levels of play. Don't miss fun for the whole family with on-site lodging that includes access to World Equestrian Center's Winter Wonderland holiday event. Register your team and book your stay at sports@wec.com.
Hey, have you ever talked to Ruse Agra over at State Farm?
Oh yeah, Ruse is awesome. Helped me get a ton of coverage for way less than I expected, and he serves all of North Florida. Super friendly too, actually takes time to explain everything.
Really? I thought State Farm would be pricey.
No, surprisingly great rates. You get that neighborly service you don't find everywhere. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
I might give Ruse at State Farm a call.
You should. Call 352-240-1779 for a free quote. You'll be glad you did.
Individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
Purple Wave Auction remains the trusted leader in online equipment auctions. What makes the difference is you. You are part of our growing global community that continues to trust Purple Wave with the equipment that builds and feeds America. This trust placed in us by our community, from construction to ag producers and fleet drivers, brings great equipment opportunities to their next owners. Join the Purple Wave community today. purplewave.com.
This football season, Hurricane BTW was your game day getaway. Catch every play with an ice-cold Bud Light in hand. Pair it with fan favorites like our wings and apps while you catch every touchdown, tackle, and highlight. Our Bud Light specials are here all season long on Hurricane BTW, so bring the crew and make it a game day tradition. Visit hurricanewings.com to find a restaurant near you.
From the Spurrier's Gridiron Grill Studio, WRUF Gainesville, W251CT Gainesville, WRUF FM, HD2, and of the WRUF radio app.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Gator Sports Network. Live from Miller's Ale House in Celebration Point, this is Gator Talk, presented by Dreamfinders Homes, building throughout Florida, official home builder of the Gators. Gator Talk is also brought to you by UF Health. At UF Health, we believe human progress has no finish line. Visit humanprogress.ufhealth.org to learn more. Melvin Law, official injury and accident law firm sponsor of the Florida Gators. We won't back down. Hellman's Real Mayonnaise. Do dip with Hellman's and do no wrong. And by Wells Fargo, official retail bank of the Florida Gators. Now let's go to Miller's Ale House at Celebration Point in Gainesville. Here's the voice of the Gators, Sean Kelley.
Hi again, everybody. Welcome in. It's Gator Talk live from Miller's Ale House tonight. We're a part of a big weekend in Gainesville that's already underway. The women's basketball team playing Florida State right now over at the O-Dome. And we finally start a home football weekend here with Gator Talk tonight. It's been about a month since the Gators were home in the Swamp, so we're looking forward to that on Saturday night. We've got a lot to talk about, including the men's basketball game tomorrow night. I'm going to introduce you tonight to one of my favorite players on this year's team. Jaden Ball will be here a little bit later on this evening. What a year he's had. And, of course, we spend time with the head coach. Billy Gonzalez is here. Please say hello to Coach as he's back with us here in the finale of Gator Talk for the fall season. Hard to believe we've reached the end, but with Thanksgiving next week, no Gator Talk, even though the Gators will be playing against Florida State. Coach, welcome home. It's been a while.
It's been a long while. And it's great to get back in the Swamp for sure.
I could sense from the players this week that they're more than ready for a home game, more than ready to have a 17th straight sellout in front of them and behind them this Saturday. That that may be a jolt here with these 2 games down the stretch.
Well, we talked about it today. We had a team meeting and mentioned that 17 straight sellouts. And I put the stadium, and we had a PowerPoint presentation, put this picture of a stadium up behind it, 17 straight consecutive sellouts. And then we talked about, obviously, the fans, great Gator Nation fans. 90-plus thousand are going to show up, and they expect us to go out and perform and go have an opportunity to go win that game. And they're supporting you, so we're going to go give everything we have to do what we need to do to bring home a W.
Gators have won 10 straight over Tennessee inside the Swamp. Got to go back to 2003. So it is a rivalry game. I know it feels weird. We're used to this being in September-ish, late September. Here we are in November, and the Volunteers are coming to town. They're ranked 20th in the country as they come in at 7-3 and 3-3 in Southeastern Conference play. Coach, we just passed Veterans Day, not just but a short time ago. This is our first home chance to salute those who served this week. That's always been a special week, at least in my time here, as we lead up to kickoff on Saturday night. What were some of the activities that you and the team were engaged in this week in getting ready to salute those who serve?
Sure. Savannah Bailey does a fantastic job over in Gator Made for us and helps arrange for some service members to come have an opportunity to speak to the team. Our players look forward to it every year because they get a chance to hear some stories. And we've had a couple of ROTC members that are, their offices are right next to ours, obviously. But they came over and spoke to the team on Monday. Did a fantastic job. They did a great job. They talked about just the commitment. They talked about the team process and how it relates between the service and the football team. Then we had Lieutenant Colonel Brian Kitchen, who was actively involved in 10 tours, came over and had an opportunity to speak to the team. You know, and I always try to talk to our players just about referencing the military. But I always make sure that I say that there's a difference between the two. There's a comparison, but there's not a comparison. And Lieutenant Colonel Brian Kitching, he was really, really good in talking to the players about, yes, there is a large comparison. And then he broke it down for the players and talked about a mission. And the mission is to finish the season, obviously, for us. And then we had Rear Admiral Hayden, who came and had a chance to speak to the team yesterday. And the unique story on that was he was in the ROTC here at the University of Florida during his time here. And the unique part about it is he was Albert the Alligator when he was here on campus. So it was great. It was great to have him come speak.
I couldn't help but think as I'm listening to this yesterday. First of all, I'm locked in and I'm watching the players. They're laser focused on these speakers. Here's a Rear Admiral, and I'm wondering, in the history of the United States Navy, how many Rear Admirals also served as the mascot at their alma mater? It's got to be party of one, and he's ours, don't you think?
It was awesome. Absolutely.
Can you, I don't know. There had to be pictures on some ship, or as he was a logistics guy, in some logistics office in Europe or Africa of Albert the Alligator, and nobody really knew that he's the guy in...
I'm with you. And I just matter of fact, I just retweeted the football Twitter on the way over here. They had all three of those, or all four of the gentlemen speaking to the team, so it was a pretty neat deal.
Yeah, awesome. Coach, the other thing that's happening this weekend is Urban Meyer will be back in Gainesville. He has to work big noon kickoff for a certain network and then jetting down to Gainesville to make it in time. The Gators are going to honor Urban Meyer on Saturday night as he will be inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame at the first week of December. So, Coach, you played for Coach Meyer, you worked for Coach Meyer, and now you're the head coach on a day where he'll be honored back in a place where he won 2 national championships.
Pretty cool.
It is.
It is. He's awesome. I showed the team again. We had a team meeting today, and I had our graphics department pull up. Just first, the first slide was just talking about how he's going to be honored next month and put into the College Football Hall of Fame. And then I showed a brief video. Just kind of, it was a mixture of the video that he put out the past couple days, and then I kind of had it mixed with some video from when he was a coach here back in the day. So, in my story to the players was just about honoring. In order to be in the present, you can't be in the present if you've got to make sure you understand and honor the past. And so I wanted to make sure all the players on our team knew exactly who he was and what they're getting when he comes. So I had an opportunity. I talked to Coach Meyer last night and had a chance to visit with him and just kind of get his schedule for when he arrives. And I'm looking forward to seeing him, absolutely. And I got a couple Bubba Caldwell stopped by the office. He was here, and I had a chance to let him speak to the special teams aspect. He was obviously the number 1 ranked receiver coming out of high school. He was the all-time leading receiver in the history of Florida football. But he talked to the team about special teams, and he talked about, listen, I was a highly ranked player coming out, and I've played 9 years. I played 9 years in the NFL with the likes of T.O., Ocho Cinco, and he started naming all these great players. And the great thing about it is he gave the players talk about, listen, unless you're a 1 or a 2 at the next level, you better learn to be a great special teams player. And he goes, I've thrived. I made my living for 9 years in the NFL because I was a great special teams player. So get a chance to give that knowledge back. But he's coming back up. Obviously, Jamel Cornelius, who's a team captain for us. Mr. Two Bits, he'll be here. And then I've got another wide receiver that I talked to that I think he'll be coming in and have an opportunity to get a chance to see Coach Meyer as well.
I asked you earlier this week about Coach Meyer, and you said the ultimate motivator. Can you remember what's the most memorable motivating moment that you can remember Coach Meyer throwing out there?
There's a ton. Obviously, I can remember some of the motivational speeches that he gave when I was a player. Probably a little direct, probably not allowed to probably say that in public, but unbelievably special man. I think the world of him. Like I said, the player-coach relationship is something that should be the tightest relationship that you've ever had, besides the one that you have with your family growing up, and then the family that you're going to have later on down the road. So it's a special opportunity because you get a chance to work with individuals, and that's the great thing about coaching. I love coaching because I get a chance to impact people. And it changes daily. You get a chance. Everybody's going through something different each day that you get a chance to continue to help push and mentor.
We just got the whole thing set up for you, right? Now we're going to talk about Tennessee coming up. We're going to get you ready for Jaden Ball as well. Our last night of audience questions for this football season. We'll do that here coming up. There's something I want to show Coach on the other side of a break here that'll be given away at tomorrow night's men's basketball game. I want to get his thoughts on a ring, if you know what I mean. And we'll do that in just a moment. Our show tonight presented by Dream Finders Homes, and we're live from Miller's Ale House. We'll be back with Coach Gonzalez on Gator Talk after these messages on the Gator Sports Network from Learfield.
Dad, light's green.
Oh, right.
Oh, what fun it is to save on the entire Toyota lineup at Toyotathon. Get 1,000 holiday bonus cash on certain new Toyota vehicles. Offer valid through December 1st, 2025. Offer entitles 1,000 holiday bonus cash on the retail purchase or lease of certain new and untitled 2025 and 2026 Toyota vehicles. This offer is valid when combined with special APR and special lease programs or with standard retailer lease rate programs. Exclusions apply. See dealer for details. Toyota, let's go places.
Hey Gator Nation, this is Vicki Brown-Worski, Director of Gators and Pal Hurt. As the Bank of Doing and official sponsor of Florida Athletics, Wells Fargo is supporting our student athletes on and off the field with interactive financial health curriculum and empowerment resources. Wells Fargo has a game plan for the full student athlete experience from their first semester on campus through graduation. Learn more about what Wells Fargo is doing to put people and communities first by visiting wellsfargo.com/impact.
Hey, college football fans, I know you'd do anything for a win on game day and an ice-cold Bud Light. Because whether you're tailgating in the parking lot or parked on the couch, sitting on your lucky stool at the bar, or standing in the fan section all game long, the clean, crisp taste of Bud Light turns a win into a win-win. And there's nothing easier to enjoy than that. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
This is Gator Talk, presented by Dream Finders Homes on the Gator Sports Network from Learfield.
When the unexpected happens, you need a legal team that's ready to fight for you, just like the Florida Gators. At Meldon Law, we're proud to partner with the Florida Gators to deliver winning results for those who have been injured at no fault of their own. With a strong record of success and a team that won't back down, Meldon Law is your trusted partner in tough times. Call Meldon Law at 352-373-8000 or visit us at meldonlaw.com.
Need to sell your house fast? Whether you're facing foreclosure, stuck with bad tenants, or just ready for a fresh start, House Buyer Network can help. We buy homes as is for cash. No fees, no commissions, no repairs. Get a fair cash offer in just 24 hours and close in as little as 7 days. Call 833-464-0827 now for your free no-obligation offer. That's 833-464-0827. House Buyer Network. Fast cash, no hassle.
This is former Gator quarterback Shane Matthews, and you're listening to the home of Gator football, WRUF 98.1 FM, 850 AM, and 103.7 HD2.
Live from Miller's Ale House in Celebration Point, you're listening to Gator Talk, presented by Dreamfinders Homes. Once again, here's Sean Kelley.
Ready to kick off your retirement? If you don't have a defensive financial plan that includes the best offense for your goals, visit guardingyournestegg.com to meet Talon Wealth, the official wealth management team of the Florida Gators. Compensation paid to Learfield for partnership with the Gators. Chop the Block is back tomorrow night since the Gators are home just across the street here at Celebration Point. Pre-game tailgating, if you will. Tailgating eve, shall we say. 6 o'clock tomorrow night. Get your gear on and head on over there. Of course, all the lights will be on as well. It'll feel different, obviously, now that we've gone to standard time than when we did Chop the Block earlier this season. Coach Billy Gonzalez here with us tonight. We're about to jump into the conversation about the Volunteers. Coach, tomorrow night, the men's basketball team back home, and they will be playing Merrimack. And just like the football game, the basketball game is sold out. I got a note on that in just a moment. But everyone going, thanks to Jeffrey Meldon and Kerry Meldon and Meldon Law, is going to get this replica championship ring that's in my hand. Now, you've been eyeballing that a little bit. It's not plastic, friends. I can tell you that.
This is the real thing.
Coach, what do you think of that?
This is gorgeous. This is absolutely beautiful. I'm kind of stunned that they're going to everybody's going to tomorrow night. One per person. It's really cool. I was curious to see what the actual ring looks like. I saw that. Now the replica ring. It's very, very close. Size is a little different, but it has the Gators script, which I don't think any of the championship rings have ever had the Gators script on the top. We can pass that around here in a second. Big time.
But that's tomorrow night. So the game is announced as a sellout, but here's the deal. There are verified resale tickets still available at FloridaGators.com. So I would say don't wait if you change your mind and want to go tomorrow night. And again, thanks to Meldon Law for that. One ring per person. Anybody here at Miller's can come on up. You can take a look at this while we have it out on the table here. 20th ranked Tennessee will be in town, Coach. Josh Heupel, it's a high-octane offense. I feel like you have seen plenty of tempo this year. This is one of the fastest. We've all kind of gotten used to it. Let's start on the offensive side of the football. What stands out about Tennessee's offense coming into tomorrow?
Well, they've got three really, really talented wide receivers that they rotate through with Chris Brazel, Braylon Staley, and Mike Matthews, and they've all been. They've got one's got elite length, the other one's kind of a wiggle slot, and then the other one's got power. But they've done a really good job of spreading the ball out to all three of them. They do a really good job at play action pass, not your traditional long, drawn-out play-action pass, but they usually do it out of a tight end set attached. They'll pull the guard, keep the tight end down. They'll bring the tail back with the guard to give a little play action to try to suck up the linebackers and safeties. And they usually have extended splits by the two wide receivers, usually about 2 yards outside the numbers, and they like to push the ball vertical. And then the inside receiver, he's either usually going to run a crossing route, or he'll read it and he'll sit down in the middle of the field. But the one thing that they've done a really good job of is taking the shots. I just got done watching the Kentucky game when they played them a couple weeks ago, and right before we came over, and they took probably 4 or 5 shots, and they connected on them. So, and then you mentioned the tempo. I think they're the 4th fastest tempo in collegiate football right now. So that'll be something that we got to make sure we do a good job with. They're going to hit a big play, and they're going to try to tempo it before you can switch and substitute. So we just got to make sure that we're doing our job properly with substitutions as well.
The 3 receivers that Coach mentioned all have over 600 yards receiving. 3 of them. They're the only team in football that have 3 with north of 600 yards. Meanwhile, their quarterback, Joey Aguilar, is on some kind of a tear right now. He's passed for 200 yards in 34 consecutive games. That's the second longest streak over the last 20 years. This is a vet, Coach. California kid, comes from App State. He's special in a lot of ways. he's been a good fit for Tennessee, it appears.
He has. They've done a really good job of utilizing his skills. I said he's a great manager. And what I mean by that is he doesn't put him in bad situations. He makes, they're allowing him to utilize his arm, his talent, and put him in and take one-on-one shots. So and he's very accurate. So he's done a really good job. I think he's closing in close to 3,000 yards on the season so far. So he's done a good job. Absolutely.
Coach, they lead football in first quarter points and yards. That first quarter is big for them. How do you take that advantage away? Can you here at home?
Well, I think one thing that I'll always say is we've got an advantage with our fans. Obviously, the noise in the swamp's probably second to none, in my opinion. But that definitely will help us. But we've got to be able to control the ball on offense too. We can't get behind the 8 ball as far as 3 and outs. 3 and outs will kill us. So we got to make sure that we can control the ball when we have the ball in our hands, and we can put drives together, and not just 3 or 4 or 5 plays. We want to make sure that we're extended plays to try to keep their offense off the field as well.
Defensively, Coach, how do you size them up?
They're big. I would say they're extremely athletic. You got to remember this team. I know their record is the games that they've lost, but in my opinion, they were a playoff team last year, and they really are. They're a field goal. They're a field goal away in an overtime victory away from being one of the top seeds this year in college football, in the college football playoffs. So they're extremely talented. They've got a couple players up on the front that are extremely strong and fast and agile. They got a linebacker that can push you, and then they've got a couple younger guys in the back end that have kind of transitioned. A sophomore, true freshman, but he's extremely talented as well. And then they've got one safety in the back end that's played a lot of snaps as a senior. So very talented team. Tim Banks, our defensive coordinator, I've worked with before. Very talented coordinator. He'll have them ready to play as well.
Talk about valuing the ball. They have 80 points off turnovers, Coach. Like you said, some of their numbers don't just jump off the page for you, but they seem to be opportunistic. How are they doing that? How are they getting themselves in a position to change a game with one play?
Yeah, they've done a good job. I think they're, if I'm correct, I remember, I think they're the sixth best defense as far as scoring.
Yes.
Turnovers.
Off turnovers, yes.
Off turnovers. So they just do a good job. They're going to play what we call a quarters shell, 4 deep, and then they're going to play one high man-to-man coverage. As you get lower into the red zone and the gold zone, they'll play a little bit of zero. Based on who they've played, it's kind of been a tendency. So some games they came out. The last game they played, they've played coverage. Against Oklahoma, they played a lot of just pure coverage. And then some other teams that they've played a little bit more man-to-man coverage. So once you kind of get a feel for what you're doing, then you kind of want to try to counter it with the plays that you got prepared for them.
Tim Banks, always an interesting challenge as their coordinator. We're going to zero in on some of the Gators-specific storylines for Saturday night after the next time out, and we'll get to our audience questions. Jaden Bossill to come here in the finale of the fall season of Gator Talk, and we'll continue after these messages on the Gator Sports Network from Learfield.
Gator fans, your dream home is closer than you think. Dreamfinders Homes, the official home builder of the Florida Gators and the 2025 National Builder of the Year, is offering incredible interest rate incentives across communities in Jacksonville, Orlando, and Tampa. Whether you're a first-time buyer or ready to upgrade, there's no better time than now to start owning, and we have the home for you. Start your search today at dreamfindershomes.com. Dreamfinders Homes, built for Florida, built for Gators.
My husband, Steve, was diagnosed with prostate cancer. They only gave him months to live. That was years ago. Now, he's out there, under the tree. Nature photography is his thing. And apparently, so is catching poison ivy.
Oof, so itchy. UF Health, human progress has no finish line.
Are you ready for some Gators football excitement, fans? Get ready to take your game day experience to the next level with Janet King Commercial Cleaning Services, the ultimate partner for a winning clean. Janet King has been a leader in the commercial cleaning industry for over 50 years, providing top-notch commercial cleaning services to businesses across Florida and beyond. Not only does Janet King provide exceptional game day cleaning, but they also offer tailored cleaning solutions for all types of businesses. For commercial cleaning services, go to janetking.com. That's JANIKING.com.
This is Gator Talk, presented by Dreamfinders Homes on the Gator Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey, Joe, what are you and Mary doing for the Gators game? Want to come by my place and watch it?
No offense, Mick, but your place is more humid than Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, and that place is nicknamed the Swamp. Why don't you guys come over to our place instead? We'll have some snacks, hamburgers, hot dogs, cold drinks, and cold air.
That sounds good, Joe. I don't know who to call about the AC. There are so many companies out there. How do you know who to call?
That's easy, Mick. Call the company we always call. Charles Berg Enterprises.
When your home comfort is on the line, trust the name Gainesville has counted on since 1967. Charles Berg Enterprises. Charles Berg Enterprises is still family owned and still guided by the values Charles Berg believed in: integrity, reliability, and exceptional customer care. And they use the best equipment on the market. Train. It's hard to stop a train. So if you don't want your home feeling like the swamp and you don't want to get swamped with high electric bills, call Charles Berg Enterprises today and experience comfort you can count on. Visit CharlesBergEnterprises.com or call now to schedule your next service.
Charles Berg.
Charles Berg.
Charles Berg.
Every Gator football game all season long, right here on WRUF 98.1 FM, 850 AM, and 103.7 HD2.
Gator Talk, presented by Dreamfinders Homes, continues. For more of tonight's show, here's Sean Kelley.
Gators fans, your ultimate Florida Gators shopping experience awaits at Alumni Hall. Shop the best in officially licensed Gator gear from Nike, Champion, Peter Millar, New Era, Yeti, and more. Again, if you spend $150, you'll receive $10 in Hall cash for your next shopping visit at Alumni Hall, here in Gainesville, or online or on their app, Alumni Hall, where Gators fans shop. Visiting with Billy Gonzalez here, getting ready for the big rivalry game against Tennessee this weekend. Coach, before we get to our audience questions tonight, let's zero in on a couple of Gators storylines leading into the football game.
Yes, sir.
One of those near the top has to be the possible return of Caleb Banks.
Sure.
And what he's done to get himself back to possibly play in these two games. How's he done it?
Well, first, I think he's a competitor. And I think any great competitor wants to have an opportunity to continue to play. We talked about some of the seniors getting up there today, some of the captains that are seniors talking about, this is possibly the last, this is my last SEC game ever to play. And then, when you want to do everything that you can possibly do to play a game that you love, and an injury takes it away, you keep fighting harder and a little bit harder to get back. And when you're nearing the back end of your career, you want to try to have an opportunity to go get those games in. So he's done a great job. He's been eager. He's pushed himself to try to get back. Obviously, everything depended upon getting the final okay from the doctors, and they were cleared. And then the process now comes into a return to play process. As far as last week, try to ease him in, just minimal reps, working some individual, working some team reps. We brought him out on the field Saturday when we were in Mississippi, to have a chance to get back on the field, get some more reps, and then that process has continued this week. So you just got to continue to monitor it so we can get into the game in a fashion where he can compete for us.
No George Gums. What a shame, right? Young man's been a great leader and a great player on the defensive side. How do you don't completely make up for that, but you've got to fill that somehow.
Yeah, he's been an exceptional player for us this year, and he's had the injury for a while. So his injury's been there for a while during the season. He'd go in training room every on Sunday, going to the training room. He's getting treatment, trying to take care of it, and to a point, you just keep going. But this past game, it kind of swelled up pretty good, and wanted to make sure we got it fixed.
Coach, a couple weeks ago you talked about the middle 8, the 4 minutes at the end of the second quarter, the 4 minutes to start the third. I felt like your team has steadily gotten better during that stretch because of your emphasis. If I'm looking at the fourth quarter now, Coach, the 27 points total in the quarter this season, if you were to turn your focus toward that, how can you improve your team's ability to score and win fourth quarters now?
Yeah, we've got to be consistent. We've got to make sure that we're, again, where I talked about playing complementary football, I think the defense has done a great job at obviously stopping them from scoring points at times. But complementary football is we've got to get off the field a little earlier, obviously on some third downs or some big plays. If we can get off the field a little earlier, play complementary football where we can get the ball and then create a drive. We had one drive that this past game, it was an 11-play drive. We did a heck of a job, drove the ball down. Then we had the turnover.
Right.
So we got to make sure we convert. We got to make sure we take care of the ball. But, again, the complementary football part and piece of it is to make sure that defense is getting off the ball, getting off the field, and giving us an opportunity. And then when we get the ball, we got to make sure we take advantage of it.
Okay. Steve Egan is our engineer and producer tonight in his 30th season. He's handing me a red ticket, Coach. We'll do a giveaway here while we tee up audience questions. And Sue's already ready. Coach Egan, do we have the ability to get Sue's question here in just a second? Dylan, are you ready to do audience questions?
Yes, sir.
Coach, in the meantime, let's draw a winning ticket here.
Okay.
While we await for the wireless microphone to make its way around Miller's Ale House. Last four numbers, if you don't mind, and this is for 2 tickets to the Florida State game. 2 tickets to the Florida State game.
Good. Ready to roll?
Yes, sir.
2097.
2097.
2097.
Hey, Jose. All right. Dylan, we're ready, and as tradition has it this season, Sue is up first for the audience question with Billy Gonzalez. Coach, Sue?
Yes, Miss Sue.
Hi, Coach. Hi, Sean. Okay, looking over the stats.
Yes, ma'am.
Tennessee has 4 defensive players with 17.5 sacks.
Yep.
Out of 33. So Tennessee is pretty tough.
Yeah, very tough. They do a great job.
How do we neutralize their top 4 defensive players to give DJ time to pass?
Oh, you got to be able to chip them. You got to be able to chip, and you got to understand where their pressures are coming from. Are they coming on first, second down, or third down? They'll bring more pressure, obviously, on the third down situation. So when you get into a third down situation, you want to be able to make sure you get an opportunity to either put your tailback in a position where he can help one tackle, and then you put your tight end on the other side where he can have an opportunity to try to chip an edge before he takes off on a route situation. So, but that's kind of how you would like to do it, or obviously get the ball out quick in a quick game where you can get the ball out quick and the quarterback has opportunities to either get the ball out quick or continue to run the ball as well too, based off what they're playing in the back end. So absolutely great question, Ms. Sue.
All right, Sue, as tradition would have it, I have a stat for you about getting the ball out quick. All right. So before Coach Gonzalez took over, Lagway would get rid of the ball 2.91 seconds, okay, from snap to release on average. Okay, that's now improved to 2.77 seconds. Now, you're going to say 0.2 of a second. Well, if there's a dude who can run 4.7 and he weighs 295 to 320, I'll take the 0.2 second advantage there. So the ball is coming out quicker for DJ. So take that. Dylan, where are you?
I'm looking.
Okay. Coach, speaking of DJ Lagway, while Dylan gets to the next question. Speaking of Lagway, Coach, each week you have, I think, specific targets or, I guess, a list is the way I do it in my class. What's the DJ Lagway list been this week in preparation for Tennessee?
Just kind of being able to put some plays in front of him where we actually bring him in, and I think it's probably a little different than what we've done before, but bring him in and actually the way that I've been a part of before in my career is you bring the quarterback in, and we always list as a coaching staff, you start talking about what your openers are from 0 to 10, 0 to 12, 0 to 15, whatever they may be, but we've always considered the quarterback has the final say, and we always want to make sure that he has an opportunity to come list the plays that he likes, and then we'll combine them based on what the openers will be. So we give him the pen and let him have an opportunity to put it on paper and tell us what plays he likes. You know, whether he likes certain. You know, every quarterback has something that they like, they feel really, really strong about, and then you try to incorporate it within whatever the defense is giving you. But that's been one of the big things that we've done.
How close is his list to your list?
It's really good. It's really close. No, he's, you know, it's, and really, it's because what we've tried to do is pare down off the statistics over the reps that we had preseason camp, over the reps that we had during the season, during our bye weeks, of what he did really good. Mm-hmm. And you break it down, and then you try to put together and piece it together based off of formation, what he likes.
Very good. Dylan, I got time for one more here.
Hey, Coach.
Hi.
I just wanted to ask real quick I know we've lost 3 or 4 of our best receivers.
Yes, sir.
I know you've replaced them with some of our younger guys. I've noticed number 4 has really, really improved. Tell me a little bit about our receivers. How are we doing for this game against Tennessee?
Sure. Obviously we're late into the season. You're battling injuries, just kind of like everybody else across America. So I acknowledge that fact that we're a little banged up, but that is what it is. We've got our players, and let's go get them ready to play. But TJ Abrams is a young man that's done a really good job. I spoke to the media a little bit about earlier this week. He was an extremely talented athlete. He out of high school, he was kind of a jack of all trades, a master of none. He was just a talented athlete. Ran fast, could cut, made great. When he had the ball in his hand, he's kind of built like a running back, but he had receiver hands. So when we got him here, the biggest thing was to refine and retool his ability as a true wide receiver of route running, and he really improved. He's a product of the. He's an individual that's progressed based off of the program that he's been in. He's done a great job. He's willing. He's tough. He's fast. His hands have improved, and he's really made himself into a solid football player. So I'm excited to have the opportunity. He had a big play against this past game. He had a big play. But he has a great desire to be great. And when you do that, you work hard at practice. And he's one of the harder workers that we have. J. Michael Sturdivant, I'm glad he got a chance to open up and show some speed. We got a chance to push him down the field. We call that a scorch route, where he loses two on a stand, verticals to 12. Gets a chance to, we brought Aiden Mizell on what we call a dip route to occupy the corner and the safety backside, and had a chance. DJ made two beautiful throws, one to DJ and one to J. Mike. And if you were to go back and look at him and how comfortable he was off the play action, O-line did a great job protecting him, but just super, super comfortable. And I remember the one to TJ, he stepped up in the pocket and threw it kind of like a basketball player shooting and following through. His hand just kind of rotated around, just kind of hung it right there, just kind of knew that it was a great throw. And the same thing with J. Mike. So, and then Aiden Mizell, he's very talented. He can run. He's been banged up, so he's kind of on his way back to getting healthy. Still not 100%, but he's there. VB3, super talented. Again, we're trying to get him healthy, taking minimum reps throughout the week to get him healthy as well. So. And we got a couple young players that we're trying to develop still at this point. But, we make no excuses. We got to get ready to rock and roll. Whoever we got, we can put them out on the football field, and they got to go perform.
Terry, thanks for the question. Very good. All right, we'll take a break, and Jaden Ball will be here in just a moment. We'll introduce you all to a pretty cool young man who is tearing it up as the Gators lead back for the offense. Don't forget, visit your local Toyota dealers or exploretoyota.com. and take advantage of the deals on the full line of vehicles. No matter your destination, Toyota goes with you. Toyota, let's go places. More after this on the Gator Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey Gators, Chris Doring here. Growing up in Gainesville, my dream was to be a Florida Gator. I was honored to be a part of a team that changed it all in the mid-90s. Drawing on that same determination and work ethic, myself and my team at Chris Doring Mortgage put forth relentless effort to get our clients to the closing table and into a home they love. Find out how we can help you with a purchase loan or a refinance. Visit ChrisDoringMortgage.com.
Chris Doring Mortgage, powered by MortgageAdvisors.com, NMLS 701-68193-7321, Equal Housing Lender.
Every great team is built on a solid game plan, sharp execution, and total trust in the crew beside you. At Quality Plumbing, we bring that same championship mindset to every job we do. For over 40 years, we've been the starting lineup for homes and businesses across North Central Florida, delivering reliable service, expert craftsmanship, and big wins for our customers. Call us today or visit QualityPlumbing.com. We're your first string team. License number CFC 043073.
If an insurance company is there to sell you insurance, shouldn't it also be there to service it with real people? At Florida Farm Bureau Insurance, we're here to help. We're focused on your specific needs. That's why we have local agents working for you in every county across the state, offering competitive rates and fast, friendly service. It's more than insurance. It's the kind of treatment you deserve. Find a local agent at ffbic.com to set up your free no-obligation insurance review. Farm Bureau Insurance, helping you is what we do best. Proud to support Gators Athletics.
This is Gator Talk, presented by Dreamfinders Homes on the Gator Sports Network from Learfield.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
This is former Gator quarterback Shane Matthews, and you're listening to the home of Gator football, WRUF 98.1 FM, 850 AM, and 103.7 HD2.
This is Gator Talk, presented by Dreamfinders Homes, your home for all things orange and blue. Once again, here's Sean Kelley.
Does your pet bleed orange and blue just like you? Submissions for the Florida Credit Union Pet of the Game contest are now closed, but the Gator Pride lives on. Join us at the Florida State game, where we will announce the Pet of the Year. Thanks to everyone who entered this season. Made this season, as they say, I'm reading the card here, extra furry and fun. Go vote for who you think should be crowned Pet of the Year, and to learn more about flcu.org/FCUPETS. Our last Gator Talk of the fall here. Thanksgiving next Thursday. No show, even though we have that game against Florida State. Sean Kelley, Coach Billy Gonzalez. Coach, we have a special guest at the table. Would you mind introducing tonight's Gators player spotlight guy?
Absolutely. Sophomore running back Jaden Baugh. He's a beast. He's closing in. He's closing in on 1,000 yards. He's a couple hundred yards away from getting 1,000 right now, and so we got to keep feeding him, right? And that's it. Look at it. He's like, yeah, Coach, feed me. But he's already eclipsed 1,000 all-purpose yards for us this year. So I think one of the unique things that he brings, he's big. First and foremost, I think he's about 230 right now. What are you weighing right now?
225.
225?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, after you eat tonight, you might be 230. But he's strong. He's fast. He's one of the best pure athletes on the football team. At 225, 230 pounds. He's got some of the softest hands. What I mean by that, we utilize him as a receiver as well out of the backfield, put him out in empty sets. But he's got an exceptional ability to hawk the ball down wherever it's at. You saw him line up. He'll be a kick returner. We put him in the back end. He might be one of the biggest, strongest punt returners in the country when we line him up back there. But a fantastic player and a great person. I get fired up. I get a chance to be around him a lot, obviously on the special teams because I coach the returners still. So I love him. Great attitude, great person, and I look forward to seeing him play this weekend.
Yeah, no doubt. Coach, he's been durable. I mean, he's been your leading ball carrier in every game this season. He's led your team in yards every game this season. That's a lot of mileage for a guy. We talk about availability being a skill. What about durability as a skill?
Absolutely. I think he brings that talent because he's so big and strong. And again, we're going to try to feed him. We're going to try to feature him just like we always try to. And obviously, I know he wants the rock in his hands every single time. And if you're a playmaker, you always want the ball. I'd rather have guys pulling next to me saying, "Listen, give me the ball, give me the ball, give me the ball." And but he's very talented, and he's got some style, as you can tell.
Yeah, he's wearing a hoodie tonight. For those of you listening across the state, that neither coach can. Well, I'll speak for myself. I couldn't pull off, but it's pretty good.
I like it.
Like strong.
I like it.
Coach, one last thing, and Jaden, I want you to speak to this first and then get Coach's reaction. We talk about you as the running back and the all-purpose yards at 1,042, by the way. A good chunk of that now is as a receiving back, 175 yards receiving. Multiple catches now in just about half the season. Jaden, I think that we had a brief conversation in practice. You were dying for the chance to catch some footballs, and now that's a regular part of your workday on Saturdays.
Yeah, it is. When coming out of high school, I was played receiver, and I try to pride myself on being different, and one of the ways I can do it is, catching the ball out of the backfield.
Coach, you're a receivers coach by trade.
Yes, sir.
How good are his hands?
They're fantastic. And when I say that, literally, he reminds me of a center fielder. If you're a baseball fan of a center fielder that can just adjust his body, and I'll use that analogy because I'm always back there with him on punt returns. But the ability to track a ball off the punter's foot and see it's really, to me, catching kickoffs are a lot easier than it's much easier than catching a punt return. Punt returns, ball goes up in the air, and obviously it moves the most when it comes down. So we kind of train them, and you got to make sure you know if it's right-footed, left-footed, the ball's going to come back down in a certain way. If it's left-footed, right-footed, if it hits the ground, it's going to bounce a different way. So we talk about all that with the guys. They got to see the ball off the foot, and then we talk about making sure when you catch your ball, as you're running, what do you always want to try to get back to the punter wherever you're at?
Yeah, my belt buckle.
Belt buckle. So so that means he's paying attention and learning. So we try to track the ball. So wherever we're running, if we're running from sideline to sideline, what he just said is, we call it quiet feet. So we want to have quiet feet. I don't want my feet moving around. I want to be nice and relaxed. I want to bring my hands up, right? I want to have one a little higher than the other. And we want to catch it on the breastplate, the pectoral, of which side we're getting ready to go. But we do a ton of different drills. He's got excellent hands, and that's why I said he reminds me of a center fielder when he tracks the ball.
Nice. Coach, we're going to visit more with Jaden here in just a moment. Final thought from you, perhaps to the fans, or just what's left on your brain tonight as we get you set for your first win on Saturday.
Sure. First and foremost, I appreciate the opportunity to have the opportunity to come over here to the show, and I appreciate the individuals that always showed up here. So I want to thank you very much. I want to thank Gator Nation for showing up this weekend before we get there to go play the game. I want to thank them because, again, 17 consecutive sellouts, 90-plus thousand people in the fans. You don't understand what that does for our players. Our players are juiced. They're excited. They're having an opportunity to come play in front of the greatest fans in college football. So thank you very much. I appreciate you. And we're going to do everything that we can possibly do to go get this W. You guys deserve it, and the players deserve it.
Coach, we're right behind you. Good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
Jaden Ball will continue with us here at Miller's Ale House. Our show tonight presented by Dreamfinders Homes, and we'll continue with number 13 when we get back on the Gator Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey Gators, when you bring Hellman's creamy buffalo chicken dip to the watch party, you can be a couch coach, cheer too loud, or worse, bring a friend who knows nothing about football.
How do they get the yellow line to move on the field?
Because when you do dip with Hellman's, you can do no wrong. That's a Hail Mayo. Hellman's, the official mayonnaise of Florida Athletics. Bring out the best.
Calling all Gators, students, alum, and diehards who bleed orange and blue. VyStar Credit Union and UF Athletics are teaming up to earn you more green. Sign up for the VyStar UF Gators credit card and get up to 20% off select Gators home game tickets. Plus, you can get a $150 bonus and up to 3% cash back on purchases when you use your new card. Whether you swipe at the swamp or tap around town, earn more. Visit VyStarCU.org to learn more. VyStar Credit Union. Go Gators. Get cash back. Federally insured by NCUA. Bonus offer subject to eligibility. Terms and conditions apply. Visit VyStarCU.org for full details.
Gator fans, your dream home is closer than you think. Dreamfinders Homes, the official home builder of the Florida Gators and the 2025 National Builder of the Year, is offering incredible interest rate incentives across communities in Jacksonville, Orlando, and Tampa. Whether you're a first-time buyer or ready to upgrade, there's no better time than now to start owning, and we have the home for you. Start your search today at dreamfindershomes.com. Dreamfinders Homes, built for Florida, built for Gators.
This is Gator Talk, presented by Dreamfinders Homes on the Gator Sports Network from Learfield.
International Diamond Center is proud to be the first and only official jeweler of the Florida Gators. This is Florida's premier jeweler. IDC's selection is second to none with direct importer prices on exquisite diamonds, world-renowned designer engagement rings, one-of-a-kind fashion jewelry, and elegant Swiss timepieces. Gators fans deserve the best, and IDC delivers with world-class service and the strongest warranties in the industry. International Diamond Center, where Gator Nation shops for jewelry. Jewelry. I'm Sean Kelley, the voice of the Gators, speaking for my friends at International Diamond Center. I'm a serious supporter of Florida family-owned businesses, and that's exactly what IDC is. And now I invite you to have the same relationship I enjoy with IDC as my personal jeweler. Send me an email, and I will connect you with your own personal IDC jeweler. You can even use my discount, too. Here's my address, Sean@shopidc.com. International Diamond Center, where Gators shop for diamonds, jewelry, and exquisite timepieces.
Every Gator football game all season long, right here on WRUF 98.1 FM, 850 AM, and 103.7 HD2.
Live from Miller's Ale House in Celebration Point, you're listening to Gator Talk, presented by Dreamfinders Homes. Once again, here's Sean Kelley.
Gators fans, make your game day even more memorable with exclusive collectible cups from Simple Modern, the official drinkware partner of the Gators. For each home game this season, Simple Modern has created a unique limited edition design available only at the Swamp. You'll find them at select concession stands inside Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. 6 in all this season. That means there are 2 left to collect. If you want to see each design and learn more, go on to the World Wide Web, as they say, floridagators.com/Stadium Cup. That's floridagators.com/Stadium Cup. Fittingly for this week, the Simple Modern Thermal Cup here. The Collector's Cup has the Gator script with the stars and stripes saluting those who serve. Jaden Baugh is with us. Jaden, the responsibility each week of one of our players is to draw at least one winner from this box of red tickets that everybody got on their way in, because we're going to give away one of the Simple Modern Cups. Would you mind drawing a number ticket and reading me the last 4 numbers on the ticket nice and loud?
2107.
2107. Hey, congratulations. Very good. Speaking of numbers, Jaden, you wear number 13. I'm old enough to know that they used to build buildings, and in the elevators, they would not put a 13 in the elevator. Some view your number as unlucky. What led you to wear number 13?
Well, I always wanted to be different. And, you know, Coach Jaluk sent us some numbers in a group chat one day, and as he sent them, some of the numbers that I wanted, you know, they was already taken, and 13 just caught my eye. It was like a chance to be different, and I didn't see a lot of, you know, backs in college football with number 13, so I was like, why not?
Why not? So you had never worn 13 before?
No, sir.
No, this is it.
Yeah.
This is what I'm going with. Here's another stat, Ms. Sue, by the way. 68% of Jaden Baugh's yards come after contact. So after he's either run into somebody or somebody has hit him. That's not normal if you're unfamiliar with that stat. Jaden, what is it about you running into or through people?
That's just something I always grew up doing. It's, you know, a way of me being tough. My pops, he pushed that in our household. So if you went tough, you know, it's going to have a problem.
Has anyone ever told you that it's easier to make them miss?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Which you do your fair share of.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I watch a lot of, you know, elusive backs, and I always try to add that to my game.
You talked about your old man. What is Dad like? What did he grow up doing?
Hard nosed. My dad played football, and he was like a linebacker. So when it came to if he could hit me or I could juke him in the hole, you know, he always think he could tackle me, but I don't think so. But he always, you know, pushed me and my brothers, just three of my brothers, and it was always a constant like competitiveness in the household. So everybody wanted to be better than the other, and that's exactly how my dad wanted it, so he can just push us, you know, to be great.
You have a gentle demeanor to you. That's an interesting dichotomy, don't you think?
Yeah, just a little.
Yeah. It's interesting. I'll be at practice, and he'll either have run through somebody or embarrassed somebody, not naming any names. He'll come back down the sideline where I'm watching, and he'll just give me this little grin as he goes by. It's pretty funny. Jaden, what else do you like to do other than run through people?
Like off the field, I like playing the game, fishing, you know, just being outdoors. I've always been an outdoorsy type guy. My mom, my dad, you know, they're from the country, so that was just something that was, you know, put in front of me. So
okay. Two quick questions for you before we get out of here. Aaron Childs now has emerged as this new fullback in the Gators offense. The Gators linebacker is 245 pounds. Have you advised Aaron Childs about being a back in the Gators offense?
Just a little bit. Me and AC go at it all the time. I think he's one of the most, competitive person I've met, and he's pushed me in the ways that I never thought I could be pushed in, and it just, I'm glad to have him on our side of the ball this time.
I do like that, yes, and especially when he's mowing people over in front of you.
Definitely.
Yes. Last question is this. Next week is a work week for you, but it is Thanksgiving, by the way.
Right.
Your favorite Thanksgiving dish or food?
I'm always go mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese.
The mac and cheese.
You and half the basketball team I talked to today. Mac and cheese must be on the ball Thanksgiving table. Jaden, I love our time together, even if it is you running by me and giving me a grin because you just made a great play. Wish you all the best. It's going to be great being back at home. I know you guys are excited about that.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
No doubt. 7:30, we'll be watching you, number 13. Thanks again for coming
tonight.
Let's go. Jaden Ball, everybody. Again, has still a chance to be the first Gators back in like 9 years to be a 1,000-yard rusher. And Jaden, that Tennessee fan just walked in. If you can make some of your 68 yards, 68% after contact, you can start there and finish on Saturday night. Yeah, all right. Take a break. Wrap it up. Our last show of the fall after this on the Gator Sports Network from Learfield.
My husband, Steve, was diagnosed with prostate cancer. They only gave him months to live. That was years ago. Now, he's out there, under the tree. Nature photography is his thing. And apparently, so is catching poison ivy.
Oof, so itchy. UF Health. Human progress has no finish line.
Hey Gator Nation, this is Vicki Brown-Worski, Director of Gators and Pal Herd. As the Bank of Doing and official sponsor of Florida Athletics, Wells Fargo is supporting our student athletes on and off the field with interactive financial health curriculum and empowerment resources. Wells Fargo has a game plan for the full student athlete experience from their first semester on campus through graduation. Learn more about what Wells Fargo is doing to put people and communities first by visiting wellsfargo.com/impact.
Dad, light's green.
Oh, right.
Oh, what fun it is to save on the entire Toyota lineup at Toyotathon. Get 1,000 holiday bonus cash on certain new Toyota vehicles. Offer valid through December 1st, 2025. Offer entitles 1,000 holiday bonus cash on the retail purchase or lease of certain new and untitled 2025 and 2026 Toyota vehicles. This offer is valid when combined with special APR and special lease programs or with standard retailer lease rate programs. Exclusions apply. See dealer for details. Toyota, let's go places.
This is Gator Talk, presented by Dreamfinders Homes on the Gator Sports Network from Learfield.
Now you can get generic Viagra shipped to your door for about $2 a pill. Get the same impact for less. Call Steelman Pills now and get the same blue pill for about $2 a pill. Call now for the 50-pill special and save even more. Plus, get a free bonus.
800-218-5088. 800-218-5088. That's 800-218-5088.
Gear up to root on the Gators at the University of Florida Bookstore at the Rights Union. The UF Bookstore will be open from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. for all the orange and blue gear you need. There's a large selection of clearance items throughout the clothing department with many items up to 50% off original price. This is a great time to expand your Gator wardrobe and save some money too. So as you look to root on the Gators, debut some new orange and blue gear at the UF Bookstore, open noon to 5 on Sunday. So to score, just remember the University of Florida Bookstore inside the Rights Union on campus, and go Gators!
This is former Gator quarterback Shane Matthews, and you're listening to the home of Gator football, WRUF 98.1 FM, 850 AM, and 103.7 HD2.
It's Thursday night, and you're tuned in to Gator Talk, presented by Dreamfinders Homes. Once again, here's Sean Kelley.
All right, let's button a few things up here before we say adios on Gator Talk for this fall 2025. By the way, the Florida women are winning at home by 15 right now over Florida State, 57-42. I don't have a Liv McGill number yet, but she is back from injury tonight. Question was asked about Urban Meyer and when he'll be honored on Saturday night. It will be between quarters 1 and 2, so make sure that you're in place for that. Much like tomorrow night's basketball sellout, football also a sellout, but there are some folks who have, I don't want to use the term turned back in, but there are some verified resale tickets available for Saturday's football game as well. You can get those at FloridaGators.com. And, gang, we're going to have Jenny Rowland on. We expect for the spring season of Gator Talk. It's right here. The sneak peek at the 2026 squad is Monday, December the 15th at 6:30. That's the annual hype night for Gators gymnastics, so we'll be looking forward to that. Can't thank the great staff here at Miller's Ale House for hosting us all fall. Of course, all those who come out and are here week in and week out and participate in audience questions, and of course all of you listening across the state as well. Steve Egan has wrapped another season of Gator Talk with panache and style as always. And again, thanks to Billy Gonzalez. This was not an easy transition this year, and Coach Napier too. These Thursday nights are valuable time for them. And both Billy Napier and Billy Gonzalez have been so gracious in spending their time with us on Thursday. And our player guests, they come completely on their own to be here with our fans, and that should be applauded too. I'm Sean Kelley. Busy weekend ahead. Basketball tomorrow night, football on Saturday night. Until then, so long for just a while, and go Gators.
You've been listening to Gator Talk, presented by Dreamfinders Homes, building throughout Florida, official home builder of the Gators. Tonight's show has also been brought to you by UF Health. At UF Health, we believe human progress has no finish line. Visit humanprogress.ufhealth.org to learn more. Meldon Law, official injury and accident law firm sponsor of the Florida Gators. We won't back down. Hellman's Real Mayonnaise. Do dip with Hellman's and do no wrong. And by Wells Fargo, official retail bank of the Florida Gators. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation of the Gator Sports Network.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
Your home for Gators football. WRUF Gainesville, W251CG Gainesville, WRUF FM HD2, and on the WRUF radio.